Hey everyone, my name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. If you like making money, subscribe to the channel. This community's for you. We can ride this commodity bull market up together, and I'll give you updates all throughout, day after day after day. Give me a thumbs up if you like this content. Today we're going to go over bigger picture uranium. So I call this the uranium macro. So we're going to go in here and look at some of the technical analysis of charts from a bigger viewpoint. So the first one's North Shore Global Uranium. You can see we popped out above this channel line. Perhaps we're coming back to backtest the channel line. I saw that we had a little bit of an up day today, but this is what the overall picture looks like. So if we do have support just below where it's at. Next is laramide, and I did this like X pattern. You know, we got a lot of chart pattern hits in here. So we had one that we broke through and kind of was riding along. The second one here coming across, we're right there. So we've got a lot of resistance there. So we're going to be bouncing up and hitting this thing. I zoomed in here. This one, the bigger one comes up over this one here. Right. This is the big one coming up above it. This other one is going across here. So we broke this one, but now we're running into that other larger one that comes up and above. And we also have this little resistance lines here. So it's probably going to be pretty volatile going back and forth in here until we break to the upside. This one's AFC Energy. I know someone was talking about it. I'm not sure if it's uranium, but this thing absolutely blew through its trend line here. Next is Appia Energy. What I see, maybe this is like a cup and a handle pattern, something like that, but it just needs to break out of this congestion area in here. It looks like we're just bouncing all around. So I'd hope this thing just blows through to the upside and breaks this congestion area. This is Baseload, big down day today, 15%. But it looks like we're in an upward channel here. So we've got a little ways down if this thing's going to continue down. Looks like to the 60 cents-ish, 55, 60 cents-ish area down over here. I don't know if it's going to get there, but we'll have to look. It was a pretty large down day, a lot of momentum coming down. Next is Blue Sky Uranium. This one's looking pretty good. It looks like it broke to the upside here. Maybe it's going to do a little back test and then head on higher. But this one broke through it. It looks pretty good. Bannerman. This was a big, huge, long pattern here. Broke to the upside. Looks like it's pretty clear and has room to run. I zoomed in on it, and it's still in its upward channel. We had the momentum was coming, it pulled back, momentum coming back up, and it looks like they punched it higher. Good job for the bulls, at least keeping this thing going. Next is Pure Point Uranium. This is what we got here on the long term. It's right there. Looks like it's at its trend line. It's got to break through it. It's going to take a lot of energy to break through this. But once it breaks through, it's going to probably look pretty dang good and run in the wild like the cheetahs do. Alaska, same thing. Big downtrend pattern, still needs to come up and meet it. So that one still has some work to put in. GoviEx Uranium broke to the upside, looking pretty good. I didn't zoom in on this one, but this one's looking all right. Maybe it pulls back a little bit and then we head on higher. But yeah, it's still putting in a little pullback. Encore Energy. So I backed up and I drew some trend lines through here. It's somewhere in here, this trend line. Maybe it's coming back to back test it. Looks like we touched it, came up. Maybe we'll touch it again and then try to go higher. But that's what it looks like right now. So there is a trend line here. Next, I zoomed in on Encore Energy. We did break this upward trend line. Looks like we're consolidating a little bit. We still have this big down candlestick here. Maybe it's going to pull back a little bit more. It's tough to say with this pattern here. I don't see anything indicative of a turn yet. But I do like the contraction of this candlestick, which means the momentum is slowing a little bit. But it's tough to say on this. There's no trend line. There's nothing really there. I mean, the only trend line we've got is from the previous page. If it doesn't work, but all right, there we go. So the trend line here is this guy. So that's down a little ways. So I figure this thing might come down a little bit. Next is Deep Yellow. This is what Deep Yellow looks like. We're kind of between these two big channels. There's some, sellers and buyers through here. But we broke up to the upside. This is this big U-shaped pattern. Broke up, kind of did a little back test and pulled up higher. Maybe it flounders around a little bit in here. That's zoomed in on deep yellow. This one means that we opened throughout and then it came back up and it was still a down day. So it's not too bad. Next is Encore Energy. Looks like this one popped to the upside of its channel. Maybe it's just back testing. Maybe that's all it's doing. Next, Standard Uranium. Coming up on this uptrend. It broke to the downside. We do have a little wick on the bottom. It's not a very large wick. I would like to see some momentum change and maybe a bullish engulfing or a candlestick on the bottom. Something to rotate this momentum going down. Here's Sky Harbor. Just a bigger picture view. Broke to the upside of this little pattern here. Looking pretty good. Fission. I saw Fission was down today. It was kind of rolling over and I think it ended down. So maybe it's coming back to test this downtrend line. We'll have to see. Energy Fuels. I saw that guy. This is a good pattern here. Came up, broke out, back tested. Now what does it look like now? We've got a bullish engulfing here. I would be a buyer here. This one I would have bought today if I could have told you guys. But this one looks good. UU looks good. Encore Energy broke its massive trend line. And this is the company that made me look. I was like, man, I'm missing something here. So I backed out, charted this, and it broke its trend here. Big up day, popped through. Denison Mines broke this downtrend, and it's looking like it's coming up on some resistance here. That's all I've got for uranium. I just want to give you guys a little bit bigger picture view instead of focusing in so much. Some of them broke their downtrends and popped higher. Other ones are kind of pulling back, like Fission's pulling back, Baseload's pulling back. Ones that look good, Encore Energy looks good, APAAF. UU looks good. Global Atomic. I don't know if I went over it here, but I looked at that chart. That one was looking good, pretty good. There was one other one that was looking pretty good. Bannerman looked pretty good. So some of them are looking pretty good. They're still in their uptrends. Some broke. URG broke out of its big downtrend pattern. Some of the other companies looks like they're starting to pull back, and some are approaching their, we'll call it resistance lines. So it looks like we're all over the place in the uranium sector. Pick up some shares in the ones that you think are good, that have good chart patterns. Some of these ones that are kind of dive bombing, like Baseload, maybe I'd wait a little bit. Wait for that momentum to slow its, work its way out, and then look to take to add to the position, at least to my position, or start a position if you don't have one. Thanks for listening. This is Finding Value.